2026 has been an absolute scorcher of a year, and if you're currently building or own a camper van, you already know the deal. Shade isn't a luxury anymore, it's necessity, and it's just way too hot to do without it. Naturally, like most of you, I started researching standard rollout awnings for our long wheelbase MAN TGE, aka New Shape Crafter. Thule, Fiamma, Dometic, all the usual suspects, but then I started to top up the costs. The awning was £890 and 36 kilograms. The roof bracket adapter was 225. The tension rafter was 45. The integrated lights 90, and the tie-down kit 24, giving a grand total of £1,274. So that's not cheap, but we really need the shade. So after all the research into rollout awnings, I bought this instead. Now I know what you're thinking. Mark, have you lost the plot? 270-degree awnings are for Land Rovers and Nissan Patrols, but just hear me out. Now I had been thinking about a 270 awning, but was worried about a few things. How easy is it to mount? How heavy is it? How easy is it to put out? How easy is it to put away? And I didn't have a roof rack either. And again, I didn't want the added weight. So this is it, the K&J Expedition awning, all the way from exotic Liverpool. Jay and his dad decided to start importing these to help out the off-grid community. They were basically buying them for the friends, and as a result, they have a really knockdown price of 850 quid. And check this out, the total weight is 40 kilograms. It's a full aluminium frame with strong, thick, PU coated Oxford ripstop fabric, a heavy duty waterproof zip bag, integrated silicone LED lights, included tie down kit, pegs, rope, twist lock legs, and mounting brackets. No hidden extras, everything comes in one box. Installing it was simple enough once I figured out the approach. On a high roof van like this, the real trick is getting the mounting height correct. It needs to be high enough to clear the sliding door, but avoid blocking your rear view camera and top brake light, but low enough that you don't need a cherry picker to reach the zip. And then the buttons for the lights are just there, so there's warm or blue. And there's just a little connection point there. Now if you do want to see how I fitted this, leave a comment below and I'll do a follow-up video with all the exact fitting for this specific van. Right, let's not piss about, let's get stuck into how it opens. Right, you unzip the bag and that's pretty straightforward. I've got a little step here from B&Q which I'll show later. You just pull the fabric out and then you pull the first arm round. I tried to get up over the camera here, but I realised I could do it without opening the door anyway. Then you grab the other arm, and then I don't know what I was actually doing there. I think I was just checking the camera was working. Oh no, I was getting the strap out. There you go. These would normally just be attached. Probably you wouldn't have to sort of undo them, but yeah, I just attached it to the bull bar and pulled it taut, and that's it. Scratching my head on how easy it was, and then start faffing about with the legs and stuff like that, which it doesn't need. So that was it. Ease of putting out, 9 out of 10. I'll be honest, I had a proper certificate smile. You know the smile where you're trying to not smile, but you do smile. Quick word of warning, if you like a quiet life, this is probably not for you. It does draw attention. I had all the off-road bikes and mountain bikes and motorbikes and Land Rovers, and all the lads were coming over asking me questions and saying how good it looked. I was quite surprised by the quality of the lights. The silicon style LED strip lights, and they have both a run of amber and a run of blue, and you can run either or at the same time. They do come with a USB wire, but I will be wiring these into our ZCM6 so that I can control these lights off both my app and the physical Pico switches that come with the Zeliox ZCM6 as well. Well, we're back at Tilberthwaite Valley. We couldn't resist it. I think we go somewhere else tomorrow, but what an evening this is. The sun's just gone down behind that mountain over there, and just thought we'd kind of grab the opportunity to kind of get the dogs out for a walk without the blistering heat. Wow, it's been warm today, but we're just going to try and get up to the tops there, just have a look around. It's a cracking view over the edge as well, look at that. So that's the valley there. We've come up all the way around. You've got this kind of old mine that kind of runs through. As I say, you get a lot of climbers going there, but there's just never anybody here. I can't believe how beautiful it is, and we all know what the Lake District's like. It's fucking absolutely hammered. We just drove through like Windermere and Ambleside, and it was absolutely packed with people. We turned up here and there was no one here, and then there's just a few other vans just turned up, but what a spot, unbelievable. 11 out of 10. Look at this. Are you staying there, Will? Go on, mate, you stay there. You're getting spaghetti legs, aren't you? Ooh, it's a bit tricky. Wallace, you stay there, mate. They've cut like little steps, just big enough for a foot. We resumed this video after the hill climbing Crocs advert. Yeah, I just wanted to say it's a fantastic amount of shade that you get around the van. I mean, it goes without saying, you can see how big it is. But one of the things I was thinking about was wind. And as you'll have seen in one of the previous videos that I've shown, there are a lot of videos where these style of standout awnings, they do handle a lot of wind. I think they typically say up to 50 miles per hour before you have to put the legs out and then tie them down. But you'll see a lot of videos online where people do have them out in winds way more than that. I think for me, if I knew the wind was really going to get up, I would definitely take it down rather than strap it down for the evening, especially given how easy it is to put away, which I'll show in a moment. So not having had one of these before, I didn't realise that it would also include these extension bars which help with pushing the tarp up to stop water pooling. They're really easy to kind of get out, but yeah, if it's raining then you can just pop these out and it'll push all the water off. Decent quality as well, everything's got a bit of room, so there's nothing's too tight to get Velcro back together and things like that, which is good. I bloody hate the way tent manufacturers make the bags too tight, so that, yeah, it's great from the factory, but when you try and get it back in, it's a pain in the arse. There's a lot of creases in it here, but it all kind of shakes out after it's been out for a while. The twisting locks were pretty good, good quality, they can be removed. These are the two ends of the tie-down straps. Again, everything comes included with it. Pretty easy to do. You get like a sort of plastic covered hook, so it can go on a wheel, it can go on a bull bar. But to be honest, both could just be tucked under a tyre and the kind of weight and rubber of the tyre holds it. Now, one caveat is these are obviously built for lower vehicles and the twist out legs don't reach the floor. I was told about that by Jay, and I believe it's easy to get hold of them. So if you are watching and you know where to get the little additional twisting legs, let me know. Because this is built for short vehicles, there is a bit of a gap there above the door, but there's a figure of 8 and a Velcro attachment there, which I could put something on. This is the step from B&Q, and I'm just trying to show you how tall it is. Yeah, it takes up hardly any space. It can fold away nice and neat like that. And yeah, it just slides neatly in the back of the van. Katie's also loving it because she's a shorter, she's only like 5'1". So when she steps out the van, she's not falling out of the van. So yeah, she was happy with the additional step. Anyway, here's a quick close-up of some of the components. There's the rope, there's your pegs, which are decent quality to be fair, they're really well made. And then you have the tie-down loops at the point of the legs, or you've got the points in the middle. So if you want the water to run off, again, you can pull them down slightly and let the water run off like that. Now, there was one added benefit I didn't expect with this, and it's that the perimeter has Velcro, and I sometimes like to have a bollock naked shower if we're out in the mountains or hills or whatever. And this is great for the guys and girls that have got a medium wheelbase van, because you can use that right hand side Velcro bit and the left and add up a simple screen. And if you've not got an internal shower in your van, it's absolutely perfect. Give you a bit of privacy so that your Fangita or your Willie's not flapping about in the wind. Note this is a Bullfinch shower that I'm using at the moment, but we supplied Matt at A Butt Life on his YouTube channel with a new Scanstrut shower last week, and it's a frigging awesome. Quality looks amazing, but I didn't have a chance to actually plumb it in because I've had so much stuff on. But do give us a sub if you want to see that shower, because it is knocking everything else out of the water. Pun intended. So I've not sped this up, I've just kind of edited it down a little bit to preserve your boredom, but yeah, you lock the legs, put them up, they're just obviously, as you can see, twist in, push up, you fasten them or fix them with a bit of Velcro, undo the front arm and just basically push that into position, and then you undo the back arm and then you just swing that round, push that into position, get your step there, just push it in, and then you just pull the cover over, and then you get the first Velcro strap in, tie it in, and then the trick is just to kind of fold it up and then tuck the access material over the top of the bars. I found that to be the best way of doing it. Have a mid-conversation with someone about walks and dogs, and then you carry on just doing the Velcro straps up and doing the zip up, and that's it. It's tricky if you know how to get the fabric over the top. It's going to be a lot faster. So I think once you've done it a couple of times, you'll get faster at it. Right, we set up for another location, but I wanted to hide this location in a product review because I don't want too many people to find it. We also seen Wallace's much younger doppelganger. It looked so much like Wallace, I thought Kate had gone in the shop and left him outside, so I was wondering what the hell she was doing, but anyway, there you go. So we set off past Coniston, and again, looking at all the different awnings that were out, most people do have rollout awnings, so it's not that common to have a 270 awning on a van. We had a little stop near the river on the way, and some of the lads wanted to use the van as a diving board.
Ask if you can jump off the van. Oh God. Oh, that sounded like a slap.
So we had a mooch around Birkenfell Pass, Dudden Valley, Eskdale and all that kind of stuff before we got to Devote Water, or should I say Doveck Water is how it's pronounced. So I've got aircon on the back and then 4 solar panels, but I'm planning on putting some rigid solar panels on the roof, so I don't want to use a roof rack. So at the moment it's fixed at the front through the roof rail, and there's a rubber bung on the actual skin of the van to stop the twisting motion, and at the back there's some extruded aluminium traversing to the other roof rail on the other side to stop the twisting motion. So there is a place that I want to try and get to with the van, but I just thought I'd walk it. I believe it's accessible because we're in a long wheelbase. Just wanted to make sure there was nothing that's going to foul between the front and back wheels. Bloody hell, it looks amazing though. When you find these places, you kind of don't want to tell too many people about it. Not ideal when you're on YouTube. So this is where you try and avoid a couple's argument. Katie thought we were going to get stuck and it was too much. I'd walked it and I knew 100% we wouldn't get stuck. So what did we do? Fortune favours the brave, eh? I think this is up there with lakes. I thought the best of lakes were in Switzerland and France, but can you believe this is in England? There's nobody here. So this is a spot that we've not really done any research on, but supposedly it's a glacial lake. It's a good job there's nobody here because I'm wearing the worst thing there, but basically in underpants and Crocs. Looks like there's still all the gear in there to So it's still got all the original stuff in there. Look at this. Still got the lift to lift the boat out of the water. It's like a little chain with a pulley there, and then it's cool as fuck, that, isn't it? It's like, am I a nerd or what is that? This is mint. See if we can wait for the swallow to come in again. Keeps like coming in and sweeping up into that corner. Wow, what a place this is. Massive shout out to Ben and Rach from Man 4x4 Fam for the tip about the awning, and to Mark Scott from Man Not Found, who was brave enough to share this unreal location. I'll leave links to their channels below.